If you want to use AI to build out your app ideas, we are really spoiled for choice. We've got Claude Sonnet, GPT-5, GLM, Grok, Qwen, Gemini, Cheetah, and now Anthropic's new Haiku 4.5, which is super fast. But here's the problem. With all these incredible models, how do you actually choose the right one for you? So spoiler alert, it's not benchmarks. We already know those are too easily manipulated. So I've spent the last few months running deep real-world tests, actually building apps, running automated tasks, and measuring what I call model productivity score. How much productive work you can really get done with any given model. We'll run a live test, building a real app from scratch, comparing all the different models, and I'll give you my insights into which ones I think are good at what. So somewhere in there, you're going to find a lot of elements that might just change how you think about choosing your next AI model. So this is the kind of mad testing I do on any given week. So here I've got 6 different instances of Cursor set up. I've got Grok, Haiku, Sonnet, Codex, GLM, Gemini, and I've also got Cheetah running in another window to test that one out as well. So I'm going to build the same app across all 7 models, and I'm going to talk about the kind of things I look for in terms of model productivity score. I gave them the same prompt to compare performance, and the first thing I want to do is check out their planning ability. So planning is becoming more and more important. It's that extra level of thinking time that gives a model a chance to come up with a good plan. And secondly, it allows you to review and amend the plan before it goes off and wastes loads of time on credits. So I use the same prompt across all models. Basically, I wanted to create a URL shortener, just something like bit.ly. So let's see how they go. So I'm using the new plan mode in Cursor, which I think is probably one of the best features I've seen in any tool in the longest while. So you just click on it down here, you'll see in the box down here just underneath my head there is the plan mode. We get a generated plan from Cursor, which typically will cover your database setup, your API routes, and then it creates a list of to-dos. In terms of planning, all the models did a reasonably good job. I give extra marks to Claude and Gemini. GPT-5 Codex gave a very concise plan, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The GPT-5 models in GPT-5 Codex tends to be quite concise. It just does a little bit of work and it stops. So that's actually quite good if you want to be very prescriptive, if you're working on features, if you're working on production apps where you don't want it to run away with itself, you just want to control it and have it work in a very specified manner. So the next important factor is speed, or for me what's important, it's iteration speed. So why I love speed is when I operate in design mode. In this approach, I use AI to help me wireframe and prototype the user interface, and I'll often throw away many of the designs. I want this to be fast and responsive. I don't want to be hanging around. So in my test, Cheetah, a model baked directly into Cursor, which many believe is Cursor's own model, performed well along with Haiku from Anthropic. So a lot of development time is lost to developers starting a chat and then they go off to scroll social media or they get distracted. They drop out of flow. So I actually think that's the point where you want to review the code and use AI to help you understand the parts of the code that you don't understand or refactor it if you do. This is how you learn and this is how you become a better developer. So if we take a look at this graph here, I'm not entirely sure if this is correct. I haven't seen it published anywhere, but Cheetah is super fast in terms of model throughput. And we measure that in something called TPS, or tokens per second. So then we have Haiku, Gemini Pro 2.5, Sonnet 4.5, and the rest in the list. So GPT-5 Codex is the slowest here, but I actually think it's one of the best models. So again, we can't just rate a model on its speed or its throughput. So next up, I want to rate a model on its tool usage. The basics of this are, can it access the file system? Can it use the terminal correctly? We have advanced features like search and browser usage, and particularly MCPs and rule usage. Does it have context awareness of when it can use an MCP, how much MCP it can fit in its memory, and when it should call those MCPs? So personally in my tests, I found that the Sonnet or the Anthropic models like Haiku, Sonnet are actually very good at tool calling. And then surprisingly, the GPT models aren't often the best at tool calling. In GPT's defense, it's actually pretty good all around. It's just that if we're going to rate them all on a spectrum, GPT in this case does tend to drop tool calls sometimes. A quick shout out to JetBrains and Junie for sponsoring this video. If you're a Python developer, it's worth paying attention. So my first startup was completely built on Python. And if you're a dedicated Python developer, there's probably no better IDE than PyCharm by JetBrains. It has this deep native understanding of Python syntax. It's fast and has everything you need in terms of test runners and inspections, which make life so much easier when you're working with Python. So what's really cool is JetBrains now has a dedicated AI agent called Junie, and it works for PyCharm, PHP Storm, IntelliJ IDEA, and the rest of their suite. It has plan mode that sets up an understanding of your project. It works autonomously as you like to build out your project, and it even has Brave mode for when you want to move fast. I actually really like that name, Brave mode. And when it's done, it can even set up and run your tests for that extra peace of mind, particularly when you're working with AI. If you're a dedicated JetBrains user, Junie is a no-brainer. Take it for a test drive via the link in the description. We also need to think about agent communication, how well the agent communicates with you, what it's doing, what it's going to do next. So let's take a look side by side at Haiku here, which is very verbose or likes to talk a lot. And then we have GPT, which is that bit more concise. Many models will actually give you their thought process as it happens. And I actually find this really good to get an insight into how the model is thinking and what it's actually starting to step through. If I'm watching the initial thoughts of a model, I can quickly stop the process and recorrect it. So I'm not going to waste a ton of tokens when I realize it's making the wrong assumptions. So we spoke about planning earlier on being very important. So one thing that happens in Cursor when you generate a plan in the new plan mode is a model usually comes back with some clarifying questions. And I think this is very important. So out of the 7 models I tested, they all came back with clarifying questions, except for GPT-5. It just jumped straight into the implementation. Those clarifying questions are important because they help refine the plan before you jump ahead, and they actually make you think a little bit deeper on what you're going to build next. Now, when the model finishes its process, it usually gives you some kind of a summary of the work that was done. So let's compare the length and detail of the summary from Haiku here, which even gives me some project structure, design features, tech stack, and all the requirements to what we get from GPT-5, which is very tidy and short. So it's really up to you. I think I prefer this more verbose approach. So an obvious factor that we look at is model pricing. We all have our own budgets. I don't focus as much on this as other people do. And it's not because I have a ton of money to burn on this. It's because I see the return on investment. I'm willing to pay that bit extra for a better model, because inevitably the extra $100 I'm going to pay, or $200 in any given month, the extra quality I get is going to mean less errors and a higher productivity score. And when you think about a typical developer's hourly rate, if you can save just a couple of hours a month with a better model, that's already a large cost saving. So you can see here, as of this week, this is how models are priced. It's not entirely accurate because different models have different tiers where they charge for under 200,000 token use and above. I just kind of averaged it out here so you can get a visual representation. Now, the other interesting thing is you can't just go by the input and output token cost when it comes to these models. And here's why. So what I did with all the models is exported the exact usage for building out this app. Because you need to think about the fact that a model could be cheaper, but it could end up using way more tokens in the process of actually building out any given project. So you can see here, based on current pricing, that Claude Sonnet ended up being the most expensive with the highest cost and the highest number of tokens generated. Then we had GPT-5, Claude, Gemini Pro, Grok, and then GLM. In some cases, the models needed a little bit more hand-holding, and that introduced more conversations between me and the model to get the project finished. But this is overall how we finished up. So I just noticed I don't have Cheetah on this, but basically it falls just in between GPT-5 Codex and Haiku Thinking, roundabout here in terms of usage. So while it is fast, it does cost quite a bit, a lot of token usage. Okay, so let's rank our models on design. So this is what we got from Grok 4. It was by far the most concise and simple, but probably a little bit too simple for my liking. So you can see Haiku actually did the most. It created a landing page, a design, then we go and create our short link. We can put our link in here, shorten the URL, it gives us the shortened URL. It didn't give us the customization though. And then if I look at the links, it shows me all the previous links that were added in there via its own separate page. Claude 4.5 Sonnet gave us everything we needed. I can put in an original URL, a custom slug, and then I could see all the different I could see all the different URLs I'd added and of course how many clicks they'd achieved. GPT-5 had a nice tidy design actually, so you could enter the URL, custom slug, and then pretty much the same as Sonnet 4.5, but I actually think I slightly prefer the design here on this one. This is the output we got from Cheetah, which is actually really good, and this model is so fast. I can actually see myself using this quite a bit in design mode. Very excited to see if Cheetah is actually a cursor model. We got a decent output from GLM 4.6. Sorry, I have 4.5 here. It should be 4.6. And a nice little differentiation here is it gives us a little dashboard at the top. And Gemini 2.5 gave us quite a clean design here. We can create our short link, custom alias, and then it gave us the number of clicks, etc. So exactly what we asked for. So now we're getting to the interesting metrics. Well, at least the interesting metrics to me. So we've looked at speed, we've looked at cost. So one of the biggest factors, of course, is code quality. And I'm not talking about just having the app completed and finished. I'm actually talking about how robust and how production ready the generated code is. I did a combination of using CodeRabbit and BugBot to pull out issues, and then I did a manual review of the code itself. I still think we need human review to make sure that we're not introducing any security issues or big bugs down the line. So I did talk about earlier on how GPT-5 was very concise in its planning, and that worried me, but ironically in the end it ended up with the least amount of issues in its code base when it had completed the project. Now this bar chart doesn't tell everything because I did have to interject with GPT-5 a couple of times to correct it on some errors it introduced. But I didn't do anything more than simply paste in the error and ask it to fix it. I didn't introduce any of my bias knowing how to solve the problem myself. The surprising takeaways for me out of this was how well Cheetah did, and this is a blazingly fast model, so I'm interested to see how this develops. So you can see here one of my favorite models, Sonnet 4.5, actually introduced a fair amount of issues. And that is skewed slightly by the fact that it did write a whole lot more code, and therefore there's more surface area for things to go wrong. That again is why I like to use GPT-5 codecs when I want to be precise and I'm working with existing projects. So this is how long it took me to get to a completed project with each one of the models. Important to note here that when I say completed project, I mean a functioning MVP. If I was to take this all the way through to a deployed production application, this might be skewed slightly by the number of issues we'd have to solve in each one of the models. So we've taken a look at all the metrics that I think are important and that you should pay attention to. What is my final takeaway after running this test? If I'm going to take all my criteria into account, here's how I break them down into a tier list. So S being the very best and then A, B, C. So I've also broken it down into planning and implementation models. Up here in my S tier, we have Sonnet 4.5 and we have GPT-5. So in terms of planning, I rank these the highest. If you were to tell me I could only have access to one model, I would probably pick Sonnet 4.5, and that's quite subjective. Number one, I do a lot of design work and it's good at design. It communicates well with me, so I know what's going on and I can correct the model as I go. A lot of what I'm doing is prototyping. I'm generating and building MVPs to test out ideas for myself and my clients. And I find Sonnet 4.5 is very good at these kind of greenfield projects. If my primary role was production on a large brownfield or existing project, I'd probably pick GPT-5 just because it's more concise, just because it's a little bit more surgical and it does what I ask it and not too much more. And when you're updating existing features or refactoring code bases, that's exactly what you want. Gemini 2.5 is a very solid model for development and it's actually quite reasonably priced. I think the Gemini series is one to watch. We're very patiently awaiting Gemini 3.0 and early indicators are that it's going to be quite a powerful model. Once that's out, I'll do some further tests and an update on the channel. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that one. And then we have GLM 4.6 and Grok 4. I'd also probably put Qwen in here as well. I just didn't include it in this test, but it probably falls somewhere in there as well. The reason GLM isn't all the way up in the A tier is that I tend to have quite a few issues when I work with it. But you just can't deny that it is really well priced. So if I was operating on a budget, I'd be very happy working with GLM 4.6. Now, looking at Grok 4 here, I actually think it probably should be in the C tier. And the reason for that is it operates and I feel like it's giving the same quality to GLM 4.6, but the cost is not there. It's much more expensive than GLM. So I'd probably decide to demote that here in reality. So I've got planning written up here, but in reality, if I can get away with it, I'm just going to use one of these models for absolutely everything. If I want rapid implementation where speed is a factor, whether I'm working on design or something that's low stakes, these are the models that I would use. So right now I'm going to put Haiku up here in my S tier. I've had a week or so to work with it. It feels very much like Sonnet, and I'm used to using that model, and it is very fast. And I'll use this a lot for designing out prototypes. So in one of my previous videos, I talk about design mode. That's where I get the model to only work on the front end of the application, to design out ideas and interfaces to see what works. I'll often throw a lot of that away and start again. So I feel like a model like Haiku is good at that. Now, Cheetah is really interesting. It's faster than Haiku. The only reason I'm not putting it up here in the S tier is I just haven't had enough time to play with it, but it looks very interesting. And when I was doing some design variations, it actually performed really well. So this is one to watch, and interesting to know if it is actually going to be a model from Cursor. I personally don't use any of the GPT models in rapid implementation. You do have access to models like GPT Mini or GPT Codex Low or Medium that are really quite fast. But if you are a Codex user or exclusively use GPT models, one of the low or mini models could give you some value there. And then Grok 4 Fast is a perfectly good model, but to be honest, I just don't use it. If I have my choice, I'm going to pick one of these above Grok 4 Fast. Now, I know many of you are shouting at the screen right now, wondering why your favorite model isn't in there or ranked higher. This is a personal productivity score or ranking system based on what frameworks I use, what tasks and problems I work on, and the type of projects I build. What I really want you to do is think for yourself. Think about the frameworks you use, the type of tasks you work on a daily basis, and what's important to you. Come up with your own criteria. What I've listed here are the things that matter to me in terms of productivity. Those are the models I personally prefer to use and get the most value out of. One important thing to note is you might run one set of tests and get a particular result. It's important that you use these models across various different projects over a period of time, because in any given case, one model can just get lucky with the implementation of a particular feature or product. You need to average it out over several different implementations to see which one wins for you. I'd love to know if there's any missing criteria you guys like to use for testing out models. Please let me know in the comments below so I can learn and everybody else can learn as well. See you next week.